Hey, welcome back guys. We are going to discuss how to understand and interpret technical data sheets or product data sheets for greases. So I have three different brands of products pulled up here, but all of the products are considered equivalent to one another. So if you plug these into any cross-reference, they're going to come out to recommend each other if you're going to switch brands. So we're going to start, of course, with Shell. I represent Shell if you don't know that already. Shell's line of greases is called Gadus, and there's a lot of numbers behind the name, which I know it seems quite confusing, but these all actually mean something, and once you understand which each number and letter stands for, it actually makes interpreting their different grease products really easy. So first thing I want to highlight here is that technical data sheets should show you or give you a quick understanding of what this grease is designed to do and what it is comprised of. So this one is showing we have high temp red lithium complex. So this is a premium multi-purpose extreme pressure grease, and it will give a brief overview of, just a quick description of what this product is and why it's the best in the world and you should use it. Usually it's kind of like a marketing piece for the company. So if we scroll down a little further for Shell's data sheet here, we can see what kind of features this product has. So we have extreme pressure, load carrying, good water resistance, high dropping point, high temp, and some corrosion protection. And if we keep scrolling down, you'll see these little picture icons here. There's actually a whole chart to understanding these because every one of Shell's data sheets has these pictures on it, and it tells you, if you were to reference that sheet, what these all equate to. So this is going to be your high temp, these are going to be bearings, high load or extreme pressure, so on and so forth. So if we keep going, we're going to scroll back up here. We've got where this grease is best used. Vibrating sieves, quarries, breakers, roller conveyors, automotive wheel bearings. It's really a good multi-purpose heavy-duty grease. And then it'll list your specs and approvals. So we have these two for this product are listed here. This is where we really get into the meat of it. Every data sheet should have this type of chart. Each company is going to have a different amount of information that they share. So this is where they're going to tell you really the makeup of the product, as well as what kind of tests it has been put through, what specs it's met, so on and so forth. So there's different standards for each type of product. So greases go through different testings and have to meet different standards versus engine oils, versus gear oils, so on and so forth. So here we've got your NLGI grade. It's a number 2 grease. They'll usually list the color. This product happens to be red. Lithium Complex is your soap type or your thickener type. Your base oils, it's a mineral oil product. It's not a synthetic product. Remember, grease has oil in it. The oil does the lubricating for the grease. The thickener actually holds the product to the component. So then we get into viscosity. The viscosity at 40 degrees C is your most important. These are both equating to the same thing. They just test at a different temperature and they will show up in the same place on a chart. So if you remember in some of my previous videos, we do go through viscosity charts, so we use them when we are going through oil analysis results. Same thing here. The base oil was tested at 40 degrees C and it came up as a 220 viscosity. This, as I recommended in my grease video, is a great starting point for any grease, depending on your application, your temperature ranges that you need to stick within. I always started at 220 and I work my way up or down from there. Now, some of these, really depending on what industry you're in, typically for me, construction and trucking, we don't have to go through some of these extra data points on here, but a cone penetration is a test that they do in a lab. Your dropping point is your temperature. We've got good pumpability, 4-ball weld, different tests here. We can get into these a little more in depth in another video, but I just wanted to touch on what are the key points to look for on a data sheet. So that's the Shell product. We're going to pop over to the equivalent Mobil product here. I was able to highlight, for some reason, Shell has these locked. So when you download the PDFs, they do not allow you to highlight or edit in any way. Mobil and Chevron is the other product I have here. I was able to highlight on these. So I have highlighted key points for you guys. So in the description we've got operating temperatures that they recommend to stick within. You want to stay under 284 degrees Fahrenheit. This particular product is available in different NLGI grades. Same thing with the Shell product, but Shell doesn't talk about that on that data sheet. One thing that differentiates Shell and from its competitors is, I would say, the competitors will use one sheet. So this is for an entire series of products. Shell will have an individual sheet for every single product. All right, moving on. So this grease is designed for a wide range of applications, including industrial, automotive, construction, and marine sectors. Operating conditions including high temperature, water contamination, shock loading, and extended relube operations. So basically extended drain periods or extended service periods for the greases. And then we come down here, features and benefits. I highlighted that they provide excellent oxidation stability, rust and corrosion control, resistance to water contamination, as well as anti-wear and extreme pressure protection. So here they've got their little marketing piece, which is their features and their advantages and potential benefits. These are potential. That's why I say this is a marketing piece. MultiPurpose is the key takeaway from this. So if we keep scrolling, here's where they recommend you use it in industrial and marine applications, chassis, components, and farm equipment. So if we keep scrolling down, now we're getting into their specs and approvals that they've met with this product. And just a heads up, the oil companies actually have to pay for these to be done. So if you wonder why some of your products are super expensive, it's usually because that product has had to meet certain approvals by certain OEMs, and those OEMs charge a fortune to get their stamp of approval. So if we keep scrolling down here, here we go into the meat of the product. You got your NLGI grade. This product that we're comparing is right here, the number 2, Lithium Complex. It's a base oil of 220, just like the Shell product. They list a little more info on theirs. Their color happens to be dark blue instead of red. We've got different tests that they've shared with us, your dropping point. So that kind of covers the Mobil product. Now if we move on to the Chevron product, same general ideas here. Here's what the grease is designed to do. Your dropping points are listed over here, or your temperature ranges. If we keep scrolling, we've got features. So this is for wheel bearings, chassis, steering drag links, kingpins, transmission cross shaft, spring pins, shackle pins, brake camshafts, fifth wheel, so on and so forth. Over here, they've actually listed out, kind of like the Shell did, where they think this is best used. So you've got your heavy-duty trucks, light-duty trucks, and light-duty off-road vehicles, so on and so forth, cars. Keep scrolling, getting into the meat of the product again. We're looking at the number 2, so this column over here. Their dropping point, their thickener type, Lithium Complex, so we know they're compatible. Base oil viscosity is a 220, and their color is also blue. So I hope this helps. Some companies do not list nearly this amount of information, and that can get really frustrating when you're trying to compare and contrast different products or figure out what you're using. These 3 companies do a great job. If you have any questions, let me know. We're going to go over these for different oil types. So we'll do engine oils, we'll do hydraulic oils, we'll do gear oils. We'll really get into these for different products. So I hope this was helpful.